Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Mr. Ed 1701. Now I'm not exactly sure if that's the right way to pronounce the nickname, it could also be M-Red, so I'm terribly sorry if I'm getting that wrong. Now Mr. Ed is in the Großer Kurfürst, the tier 10 German battleship. He is on the map Islands of Ice in a 3-point domination game mode. It's obviously a tier 10 battle, but not too many tier 10s around. Only 3 destroyers and no carrier. Now, Mr. Ed announced at the beginning that he is supporting a push towards Point Charlie, and that's where he is heading now. There are only 2 friendly destroyers, and they are both heading for the center. The team decided to take Bravo and Charlie, so far all ships are heading on. That's nice. The battleship hub in the north probably hasn't loaded into the game yet. That's a bit unfortunate, because as a battleship he's probably slow and it would be nice if he was able to start moving at the beginning of the game, but there's nothing you can do about that. Now we haven't seen many enemies so far, so we don't exactly know where the enemies are going. That is very aggressively going right for that cap, and we know an enemy destroyer has started capping because nobody is detected and somebody is capping this point. So he is using his hydro here. Going inside that cap circle as a battleship can be a risky move. We don't exactly know how the enemy team deployed yet. So if there are very many ships down here in the south, going inside Charlie might be rather problematic. If there aren't that many ships here, then pushing in here can be, well, very rewarding, I mean. Now there is some fire incoming. The Edge ship was set on fire, but there is only one fire. You don't want to blow your damage control party just yet. And there is a Des Moines at 10 kilometers, so that might be a juicy target. Now the Des Moines is facing this way, but the Kurfürst's guns should have no trouble with that. There is a citadel hit. Now he was here in time to stop the enemy team from capping, but there is quite a bit of opposition spotted, although there aren't that many enemy ships down here and there are a lot of friendly ships coming this way. So this might work out. The torpedoes are spotted, the hydro is still going, and this Des Moines is backing up, but he's already on pretty low health. And we can see the enemy destroyer. He is now spotted thanks to the hydro, and his torpedoes should be on cooldown. So that destroyer is in a pretty bad spot and he is getting reset, so the capture progress of the enemies is stopped. And Mr. Ed is wisely getting out of here. There is no reason to push further towards those enemies. There aren't that many enemy ships here, but the friendlies are still a little bit behind. And well, Mr. Ed's ship is reasonably healthy. He still has 4 uses of his repair ready, and yeah. He has stopped the enemies from capping. The enemies might be in retreat here, so now he can take it a bit slower, heal up, and then maybe push back in. Now he is launching his plane here to help spot 4 torpedoes or help spot the enemy destroyer. And he is looking for targets. The enemy Großer Kurfürst here is showing broadside, which make him an excellent target, and yes. He's going for it. There is a nice citadel hit there. So enemy Kurfürst got punished. Now the torpedoes are spotted here in advance, which is nice, so he will now just speed up and hopefully avoid those torpedoes. This island was nice because it prevented some launch angles. And this means Mr. Ed should have no trouble getting in safety if he just speeds up. And the enemy Kurfürst should go down here, so that's one dangerous enemy dealt with. Now he is on fire again, but only one fire, and one fire means you wait with your damage control ability. Now he is turning his ship around here, he wants to face those enemies. Now while turning you are vulnerable, but it looks like this Kurfürst is not targeting him currently. Now meanwhile the friendly team has successfully taken the center, the enemy team has taken the north, and it's likely that there will soon be an enemy push towards the center. Those friendly battleships are unfortunately a little bit without support here on the front lines, and majority of the friendly team is still down here, but the friendly team is capping, and afterwards they can push up and help the north, although they will have to deal with the enemies around here first. And Mr. Ed is going towards the enemy Kurfürst. They really wanna sink the battleship before they go north. Well, they wanna use all those enemies here. Now the Sao is launching some torpedoes. Mr. Ed is checking if he can get shots at this Des Moines, but the Des Moines is still hidden, and the Kurfürst is showing broadside, so he decides to help out the friendly Sao. And looks like the Sao managed to get some decent torpedo hits here, and the enemy Kurfürst is dealt with. Now the Hipper retreated behind an island, and the enemy Des Moines is still at an awkward position, but the way Mr. Ed is going, he should see a little bit more of this Des Moines soon, hopefully. Unless the Des Moines decides to move forward, but maybe he's even moving backward. So decides there is now enough visible that he's just going for it. And yep, that worked very nicely. Now unfortunately this whole battle took him very far to the south. Actually there are quite a few friendly ships who are very far to the south now, and those ships are badly needed at the center. The enemy is starting to push in towards the center, and the friendly forces are not yet in a position to deal with that. They are still cleaning up here the south. Now this Hipper is under fire from secondaries on a very low health, and the secondaries dealt with her, so it's nice. Now fortunately the Großer Kurfürst is not that slow, so he should be able to make reasonable speed and get hopefully to the center soon enough to help defend. On the not so bright side, the enemy still have 3 destroyers left and the friendly team only has 1. Now the friendly destroyer is up here somewhere in the front, but the enemy destroyers are pretty close and will most likely spot the friendly destroyer if he tries to go into that cap. Also the enemy is pushing pretty hard inside the cap, so if the friendly destroyer gets spotted, he's most likely getting obliterated. So there isn't that much he can do to delay that. Now, it will take the friendly team a while to assemble here, but they are in a decent spot. Even if they lose the center now, they can just retake it, hopefully. What's important is that they push in together, I would say. And a small hit on the enemy Scharnhorst coming this way. Unfortunately, there aren't any really good targets right now. But doing a little bit damage to an enemy is always helpful. Now, unfortunately, the friendly destroyer, well, he tried to delay the enemy, but he was spotted and he was badly outnumbered. There wasn't much hope for him, unfortunately. So the friendly team now has no destroyers left and the enemy still has 3, and there are some friendly ships going down, so it's not looking that great anymore. The friendly team is also quite a bit spread out while the enemies are clustered here tightly together, and there are probably torpedoes coming from the flanks towards some friendly ships. Now Mr. Ed is looking for a good target here, but nobody is really presenting some great shots. So he is going for the Bismarck here, and now it's a bit, Well, it's a bit problematic. There are still destroyers inside the center, there are quite a few enemies. There is also like a cloud of smoke that's even hiding the battleships. And there is no way to drop in concealment with the Kurfürst from the position he's in. Now this Montana is going here towards the left, so he will be soon sandwiched, I guess, between the Montana and the battleships in the smoke, and he will have trouble angling against everyone. There are also torpedoes from the smoke to consider. And this was a nice hit at the Montana. Now he is turning to get away from the center, the other battleships and the destroyers. Maybe he turned a little bit too fast and exposed a bit too much broadside to the Montana, but he's in a bad position considering how many ships are there inside the smoke. He has to consider them as well. But well, thankfully that Montana is making no indication of angling whatsoever. And Mr. Ed was able to angle perfectly against this salvo, so the Montana should go down shortly. But there are still enemy battleships inside that smoke, and he's currently showing broadside to them, but well, you can't angle against everything. Now, torpedo warnings are coming in, but he's hopefully far enough away from that cap. Shouldn't matter too much, and yes. Now he is decently angled against the battleships inside the cap, also they are only tier 7 and tier 8. So at least there is that. To think of it, there shouldn't be any tier 7 ships in this match, so obviously there is a failed platoon around. And well, he is turning his ship around now. He wants to go straight inside the cap circle. I mean, the friendly ships here are pushing in, and he wants to get close and help and support them. Now his health are getting very low. He has one heal left. He is trying to go for the destroyer here, because there is a very low health destroyer, and maybe he only needs 1 or 2 hits. And the destroyer is a very dangerous foe. Unfortunately, he didn't get lucky with his dispersion. So the next salvo might just go for the Scharnhorst, if the Scharnhorst keeps showing perfect broadside. And well, the last heal is used. The Scharnhorst got quite a lot of torpedoes into the friendly Montana. And I think so did the enemy destroyers, so that's unfortunate. The friendly Montana got taken out. The Scharnhorst is down as well. So it's 3 versus 3 now. The enemies do have a slight advantage considering the capture points, and the enemies only have destroyers. So that's gonna be interesting. Oh, he's using his catapult fighter here to help him spot. Unfortunately, Hydro is currently on cooldown. So it looks like the enemy's destroyers might set up an ambush behind one of those islands. And the Udalo is coming this way, so I'd assume there are torpedoes in the water. But well, that's one threat dealt with. Now it's a gearing, and I think one of the German destroyers is still around. Now there are torpedoes coming in. He should be able to avoid most of them, but he's taking 1 hit. His damage control is ready, and he immediately uses it to get rid of the flooding. And he managed to get the gearing. So looking pretty good for the friendly team currently. There's only 1 enemy destroyer left. Now Hydro is ready again. He uses Hydro, and there is the last remaining enemy. He's on pretty low health, and while he is behind this island, I think some friendly team member, well, 1 friendly team member has shots at the enemy, so this should be won shortly. Now let's take a look at the results. Mr. Ed managed to get 2,726 base experience, and well, that was certainly nicely done by him, and he sunk 7 enemy ships. So he aggressively pushed into Charlie in the beginning. When there was too much opposition, he successfully retreated, healed up a bit, helped clean up Point Charlie, and then helped push into the center and win the game. Now he achieved Confederate Close Quarters Expert, Fireproof, Dreadnought, Kraken, Devastating Strike, and High Caliber. He scored 248,000 points of damage, and I found it a very nice battle to watch. You saw some nice tanking action, you saw secondaries fly, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. So I'll see you guys next time.